In this episode of Let's Talk, Denise Baker and I talk about the importance of the integrity of the work you're doing, especially as a filmmaker and as an artist and as a journalist. Well, I think as an editor, because you begin to realize how powerful editing actually is. I mean, literally, I can make somebody say anything as an editor.
No, absolutely.
And you have to have a high level of integrity to make sure that you don't, because people are putting their trust in you, that you will actually represent them in a true manner. And there is the opportunity that you could, through editing, accidentally or deliberately mislead people into thinking that somebody said something they didn't actually say. So it is
Right.
very important to make sure that you're honest and you keep the integrity of the interviews that you're actually doing with people, so that they to build that trust, which I think is extremely important part of that process.
Oh yeah. I mean, back in the days when my dad was writing for the Pittsburgh Press, when something was off the record, it was off the record. But now everybody's recording videos on their phone, and it just in some ways I think that it's too much. I mean, I know that when my family comes over here for dinner, we always say no phones.
Yeah.
No phones. It's just ridiculous. You go out to a restaurant and people are sitting there and everybody has their phone and they're not talking to each other, So we're overly communicating but not communicating.
And I think one of the difficulties is that, like, for example, there's lots of activities that I'm now doing, and I'm deliberately not recording photographs or taking video and sharing it on Facebook, because I see that as a private moment. It's something I just want between me and my family, or, whatever. So I'm actually making sure that I design what I put up on Facebook and YouTube, because I feel that, that there's a part of me that, we all make mistakes. And I think one of the problems that the younger generation are finding is that if their mistakes are put into public too quickly before they can, change things, then it can actually last such a long time, and they can actually be tainted by those things. And yet learning is about making mistakes. So we need to be able to make mistakes to be able to learn from them.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't have Facebook when I was growing up.
Well,
now with the political climate here and people that you've known for 40 years, and all of a sudden you find yourself on opposite sides of the political spectrum, and it's just been it's been very intense and weird.
Yes. So how are you experiencing that?
Well, I'm trying to stay positive because it scares me. The political climate right now is frightening because it's aggressive and it's mean spirited, and you have to really try to not bite into that, like you were saying, and try to keep your emotions out and not, name call and things like that. But it's been difficult. It's been a very difficult time, and I think about y'all with you're going through the Brexit, and we're going through having a president that probably doesn't even know the Constitution, and I mean, I'm going out on a limb here, and people aren't going to like me for saying that, but it's been very difficult, but mainly in maintaining friendships. People unfriend you, which I don't care. That's fine. But I think that we need to be able to talk to each other instead of reacting to each other.
And I think that's where, I mean, I've been reading up on what it means to be assertive, and how that being assertive is being allowed to have your say, but also having the respect to allow the other person to have a say who may be coming from a totally different perspective. And that's it's that respect and allowing other people to have their views shared, which I think is really important. At the moment, I've been making a documentary called Higher Quality of Disagreement, which is actually bringing Muslims Jews and Christians of different denominations together to talk about their differences and open up so that we can share where we're coming from. And the key, I think, is that once people get together and start talking, even though we may use a different language, we are actually, as you said earlier on in the interview, wanting the same things. We want families, we want jobs so we can pay our way. We want to be able to, do the normal things without having to worry about, is the world going to collapse in on top of us?
Right.
And I think that's why it's so important to talk to people of different beliefs and different religions, different politics, because I don't understand all. I don't know what the right is. I don't know what the left is. I don't know what the socialism is. I don't know what I've been talking to lots of people who would say that they're maybe socialistic, and you kind of go, yeah, but when you put that to the full extent, you can get a totalitarian way. But also, if you bring the capitalist view, you can get the totalitarian way. That way, you can actually echo and look as though it's exactly the same.
Right.
And
but that's interesting because of the whole Catholic Protestant thing.
Yeah.
And now recently, we just had the Supreme Court pass a ban on Muslims entering our country, which is to me un-American and undemocratic. So I mean, we're really in a rabbit hole, and we have to really kind of hang on to the reins and do our homework and not react. But I agree that sitting down and talking, and I that when you sit at a table and break bread and share meal with people different, because I think food is a real common bond, and it's a place where diversity is comfortable, and that if we could get more people with differences sitting at a table together without cell phones, having a conversation and finding, like we said, the common bond. We want our kids safe, happy, educated, with opportunity. We want to be able to pay our bills, have access to health care, take care of our elderly parents. It isn't a difficult thing.
And I think that was the wonderful thing about having the trips that you provided for us. That it was the first time. Was it the first time? It was the second time I think I'd been to America. I'd gone to Boston to film parts of Fiddler's Walk, and then the second trip was to go to North Carolina. So it was good to see. We get our views of America based on what we see in the media,
right,
and the films that we get to see. But then when you got to meet the people, you began to realize, well, actually, they are the same as us. They are the same. We have similar sort, and we can get on really well with the dialogue. But you can find that with Russians, and you can find that with Lithuanians, and you can find that with Spanish and Mexicans and Indians and everybody else. That once you get down and you see them as human beings, and you see that, and they get to talk about their normal things. It's about family.
We're the human race, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
And really, kindness matters, and we really are the same. And I think it's just, life is such a test, and what you're going to do, or how you're going to react, or what you're going to be. It's but I have to stay positive and hope that. Like in that movie, I forget what movie it is. It's like, it'll be all right in the end. And if it isn't all right, it's not the end.
Absolutely. We have more on the way, so please subscribe to this channel and check out the link below if you'd consider becoming a patron to help us keep making more content. Thanks for watching.